everybody, 𝐁𝐴𝐴𝐴 here, and I'm going to show you the 𝘁𝗴𝗃𝐺. It's what I'm using right here. So this is the 𝘁𝗃𝐺, and welcome back for everybody who watches the channel. And if you're new to the channel, I'm 𝐁𝐴𝐴𝐴, and I post every week on the fiddle and the mandolin and teach you different things that come to mind and answer questions and requests and stuff like that too. So if you've got requests for future topics, drop them down there in the comments. Now, on to the 𝘁𝗃𝐺. We're going to be focusing on this bar chord position that a lot of you who take lessons from me or come to my workshops know these shapes. And this is a question I get a lot is, well, I know all these bar chords, but when I want to play in D, there's a problem. You can play a bar chord D up here. That's 7, 7, 9, 10. I won't go into the technique on these right now, but you can find all the technique for these bar chords in my Fantastic Chords and Where to Find Them course, link down below. So they'll say, well, I can play this chord, that D chord, or I can play this D chord. That's 2, 4, 5, mute. But there's not a whole lot of freedom when it comes to the G chord you're going to play on a song like Whiskey Before Breakfast, like I was just playing. So you can play this D chord up here, and there's a G chord next door. It's 7, 9, 10, and then you mute the E string, and there's an A chord nearby, but now you're kind of stuck up the neck, and this is pretty high pitched. Not usually what most people are looking for. But you come down here for this D, and the D is great. That's 2, 4, 5, mute. I'll always give you G string first. When I'm giving you note names in double stops or fret numbers, it's always going to be from the G string first. So 2 on the G, 4 on the D, and 5 on the A. So perfectly good D chord here. There's a perfectly good A chord next door. That's 2, 2, 4, 5. It's like this D chord, but down here. So we've got a perfectly good D and a perfectly good A, but what G do you use? I get this question all the time in private lessons and workshops. Because you've got this great stuff, but then you try different Gs and they don't work very well, like open G. You would think it would work, but the G with its open strings just kind of clashes with the others. Now you could try something like this one, but again, it's a clash. They just don't go. One of these things is not like the others. So what do you do? Well, you could try this G chord. But that one's even worse. So this is where the 𝘁𝗃𝐺 comes in. And it's based on a shape I call the Roland White G. That's where you play 4 on the G, 5 on the D, and 5 on the A, and then you mute the E string. And that can be played with the index finger in the middle, or in the middle in the ring, like that. And this chord actually sounds good with our bar chords. But it's not extremely convenient, and especially on a song like Whiskey Before Breakfast that moves so quickly between all these different chords. It can be a lot of trouble for beginners and intermediate players to be able to get between those chords fast enough. It's just not the easiest thing to do right off. However, the 𝘁𝗃𝐺 fixes this problem. The 𝘁𝗃𝐺 is a 2-note chord. It's 4 on the G, that's going to be with your ring finger, and 5 on the D with your pinky. That's the 𝘁𝗃𝐺 chord right there. Now my pinky is actually muting the A string. And then what I'm going to do when I play this 𝘁𝗃𝐺 is I'm actually never going to move my bar either. So now my pinky is muting the A string a little bit. The bar is muting strings. And this bar is there waiting for me when I come back. So I've got my D chord here. That was 2, 4, 5, mute. It's time to go to the 𝘁𝗃𝐺. The ring and pinky just come right over. The same way that when you're going from baby G to baby C, those fingers just move right over in formation. Same thing happens here. It's the exact same idea in a different key. So your fingers just move over, the bar stays where it was, and you just play the G and D strings. Nobody is going to be able to tell the difference that you're playing only 2 strings in this context. Now, sure, if you're in the key of G and you're only playing these 2 strings, that could be noticeable, but we're in the key of D here. The cheater G really shines in the key of D. And here, it doesn't matter, especially on a song like Whiskey Before Breakfast. No one's ever going to notice, and it's so convenient because you go from D, that's 2, 4, 5, mute, to A, 2, 2, 4, 5, and G, that is 4, 5, mute, mute, or just avoid them with your pick. And it's so convenient and smooth sounding. They sound like they go together. There's a good general rule, which is chords that look alike tend to sound good together. And these do, they look alike. The reason for that is that chords that look alike share the same intervals, or at least some of the same intervals, depending on which chords they are and how much they look alike. So that's why it works that way. That's why the rule. I go over a lot of these types of rules in my Fantastic Chords and Where to Find Them course, and that was a course we did live back in December, but it was all recorded and you can buy it at my Play Nately website, and the link's down there in the description, so check it out. Got a new course coming out. I'm going to announce it soon, and it's going to be called You Can Play by Ear. So keep an eye out for that. You beginner and intermediate players out there, this is for you. It doesn't matter how new you are to the mandolin, there's going to be something you can get out of that course. And even if you're more of an intermediate player, you're going to get stuff out of that as well. So live online course coming soon. Stay tuned. So now you know the cheater G. Where do you use it? Anywhere that you want to play bar chords in the key of D, and that you need to be able to stay in this range, and that you want to be able to move quickly between chords. So Arkansas Traveler is a great one. This is the B part. And of course, Whiskey Before Breakfast, like what I was doing. So that's the cheater G. It's one of the best things I ever learned to do. I do not remember where I picked it up, probably from maybe Gerald Jones or somebody like that. I really don't know where I picked it up, but it's an amazing technique. I've used it for my entire career, and including on recordings and things like that. It just is something that's very useful and sounds good. Nobody can tell that it's a cheater chord. So anytime you have a chance to play something that's easier than another option and have it sound just as good, take it. 10 times out of 10, take it. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and click that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It's a really easy, free, and quick way for you to support the channel that doesn't cost you anything. And if you're watching on Facebook, make sure to follow this page, click that like button, and share. And I'll see you all in the next video.